Hello, everybody. I'm going to wait a second for you guys to hop on. Let me fix my chat. I know I didn't tell you guys I was coming on. Who's there? Is that you, D? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, we have some people jumping on now. Come on in, everybody. Don't be shy. Hi, Terry. Hi, Bernadette. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to collect all the black inks I own while we're waiting for everybody to join us. Come on in, everybody. Let's have a stampin' good time. Hello, Wendy. Hi, Purnima. Hello, guys. Yes, it's a snowy day in Pennsylvania. It's very cold. I was allowed to go home a little early today, which I'm very grateful for. And I was going through you guys' comments and emails, and Janie and Annie, I got 2 emails from you guys saying, hey, would you do a video on comparing black inks? Hi, Nikki. So let's do that because as you can see, I have lots and lots of black inks here. So I thought we would do a comparison and showing 2 different kinds of markers. This is a lime green, light green, Zig Clean Color real brush, which would be like, dye-based if you were doing like watercoloring. Hi, Emily. And then this is a Copic marker, which is just a regular yellow Copic marker. But I thought if we were going to see any bleeding, it would be with these 2 colors. Right? So before we do that real quick, do you guys want to see the new Hero Arts kit? Because I was going to use one of the stamps off of there. All right, so I'll just show you guys this real quick. Wow, we are awfully low. Hold on, I'm going to adjust you guys up a little bit here on the desk. There we go. A little better, right? Is the lighting okay? All right, so this month's kit is probably not something I would have ordered, just like last month's kit. But it was nice that it came, and I'm still debating what I'm going to do with it. Hi, Wilda. The ribbon is a very light gold, very pretty, classy kind of gold. You see that? So that's a pretty ribbon that came on there. And then the kit itself has this very cool 20s vibe, which has this large stamp set. I don't understand why they didn't finish off. Oh, probably because there are hats. Nope, I don't see any hats. I don't understand why they didn't finish off the heads here. Like they chopped off the back of their heads. Here and here. I mean, I guess I could draw them in with the marker. But I do like the little martini glasses, the little musical symbols. I like this lady with her big hat, these silhouette images. So, and the type, the way that they have the fonts is pretty cool. So, hey there, Dollface, have a roaring good time. Kick up your heels. You're the cat's meow. Bee's knees. Party like it's 1922. Ain't misbehaving, Daddy-O. You have your, what's the record player called? Something phone. Help me out here. Can't remember that. I like the car. That's pretty neat. But I like all these geometric designs that are in here too. So you have all of those. And then, yes, like Nikki said, you do get the dies. And this one was kind of cool because not only do you get those dies to go around the silhouettes, and it's stuck on here, it's super tape. Look at this background die. How cool is that? Let me cut these guys off here. Yes, Victrola. That's correct. Thank you, Nikki. There we go. So I thought this was a really cool background die to get in this set. So you get that, and then you get the dies that go with all the stamps. And then the second package comes with some really cool gold and black flat sequins. I guess they call them confetti, not sequins, confetti. And this really cool stencil, again, with that geometric design. And then it has this, gold foil cardstock. And then this is like gunmetal is the color I would call it. It's not really silver. It's like gunmetal. So you get 2 sheets of that, the stencil, the little flat back confetti, and then, of course, the large die, the cutout dies, and the stamps. So pretty neat set. Like I said, probably not something I would have reached for, but it came in the kit. So I'm going to try to be open-minded and be versatile about it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to grab one of these little geometric shapes out of here. This little square. And we should use that in our little demo. So I am going to stamp out this little guy. Let me get a smaller block here. All right, I'm sorry, guys, but I need the overhead light. Maybe you guys don't need it, but I feel blind without it. If there's a glare, let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna write the names of each of the inks here, and then we're gonna stamp it out. And I'm going to stamp it out twice. I'm going to stamp it out once for us to try with Copics. And then one, I'm just going to put Zig. I should probably pick out a solid image too, right? Let's do one of these dancers. So we'll basically test the ink 3 ways. How it does with Copics, how it does with solid images, and how it does with Zigs. Does that make sense? And so I will write at the top here what they are. Okay. All right, so let me make sure I'm in screen so you guys can see. I am going to stamp all the images out. Let me grab my little towel here, my little chamois, and my cleaner so that we clean the stamp in between each time. We don't want it to be contaminated. Let me just turn my phone down. My kids already have a 2-hour delay for tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to start with the Altenew little mini inks. That's all I have. I don't have the large. This is the Altenew Crisp Ink in Jet Black. And I'm going to stamp this off because it's a brand new stamp. So we don't want any, again, any unfair advantages here because it's a new stamp. Okay. I think we're pretty good there. All right. So I'm going to stamp this out. And we're going to see how it does with Copics. And I'm using, hi, Tracy. Hi, Judy. I am using Neenah Solar White Classic Crest paper. And anytime you have new stamps, you should stamp them off before you use them, just to clear them and get some of that residue off of the stamp. If there is anything left from manufacturing, and kind of prime it, especially with clear stamps. Not all clear stamps are the same. Silicone stamps in particular can be a little difficult. I know a lot of people think, well, clear stamps are clear stamps. They are not the same. They are different. I did do a video showing the difference between the clear stamps, photopolymer versus silicone. Silicone stamps are much cheaper. They usually come with the magazines for free. Hero Arts does not do the silicone stamps. They do the very good quality, high quality photopolymer stamps. So I'm going to attempt to ink this up and stamp it correctly here. And I'm using a little Stampin' Up! Stamp pad underneath so we have the proper amount of pressure and give. Okay, so that was the first color ink, and I'm just going to quickly go through these here. The next one is going to be Gina K, which I just picked up. And I know you guys don't see me, but I have the rag on my lap and I'm wiping the stamps off. And I stuck my finger in the ink. Stamping problems. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, I was really kind of being cheap and not wanting to upgrade the Wi-Fi and the router, but when you have 2 kids in the house and that's all they want to do all day, causes a little bit of issues. Okay, the next one I'm going to try is the Catherine Pooler Midnight. Now, Catherine Pooler's inks are very spongy, like Stampin' Up! Ink pad, so you don't need to do much here. It's just a slight little touch. And it does stain. Does stain. Here I used cleaner and tried to clean it off, and it is stained now. Just fine. Stamps don't work any differently when they're stained. Okay, the next one is Color Box Fluid Chalk Ink in Blackbird. Very similar to the Catherine Pooler with the spongy ink pad. Oops, that's my fault. I missed the stamping there. Cleaning that off. All right, now the VersaFine, I want to show you guys I have 2 ink pads for the VersaFine. The VersaFine I have, because some of you guys have asked me, what is the difference between the 2 VersaFine ink pads? So let me clarify that real quick. Let me read your questions real quick. What was the name of the first ink? The first one was Altenew, and I'll show you guys these. I'll bring them in screen as we review them. Altenew, Jet Black Crisp Ink, Gina K Amalgam Ink, Catherine Pooler Midnight Ink, Color Box, Fluid Chalk Ink Pad in Blackbird. So those are the 4 that I've done right now. Yes, Tracy, I'll send you a picture of what I did there. Okay, so the VersaFine company has changed from this ink, which is a flip style ink, and there's a little felt little cloth in there. And most of you probably have this ink, and you just kind of flip the lid over on itself and hold it and stamp it, right? And so from what I understand, this is an oil-based ink. It's not an alcohol-based ink. It's not a regular dye ink. It's got some properties in it that make it a little different. Hi, Angela. Hi, Wendy. So they've changed their packaging and also changed their formulation to look like this now. So these are essentially the same thing. The difference is when you stamp, actually, I'm going to show you on a scrap piece of paper real quick. First of all, they're both very good for watercoloring once they are dry or heat set. You can watercolor with them, which we'll show. Plus, both of them do stay wet so that you can emboss with them. The difference is, I'm just going to move this paper out of the way and bring my scrap paper in, is that when you stamp with the white one, there is some smudging. So I'll show you here. So we stamp that down. Because it's wet and we're able to emboss it, it does smudge. So I know you guys can't see. I'll bring the camera up and I'm going to just clean the stamp off here. Because that ink is kind of pigmented, it sits on top, it does tend to smudge. So they've improved that in the new formula where it doesn't smudge and it still allows you to emboss with it. So I've cleaned my stamp off and I'm going to do this again. Oh, I just lied to myself. Well, that's what they said in the commercial. Maybe I have to wait a second. Man, that was like not cool. They both smudged. Look, they both smudged. Supposedly that one's less smudging. You got to wait 5 seconds or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll add it to the list. You know what? I'm just going to add it to the list. But from what I understand from my friends, it's very difficult to find this ink pad and find the refills on it. So I didn't really want to show this one because it's basically being discontinued. If you find it out there, great. If you have it, use it. I'm not saying throw it out. Obviously, I didn't throw mine away, but it's being replaced with this one. So that's all my point was there. So I'm going to stamp out using this one for the VersaFine comparison. I can't believe that smudged because the whole point of them selling it was they said it didn't smudge. That was really embarrassing, guys. Hi, Jay Thompson. And I'm going to do the solid one. Let me just clean the stamp again. Can't remember if I cleaned it or not, so better clean it twice. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip this paper over to the back. And on the back, we are going to do Memento, and we'll see if my StazOn is not dried out. I will be honest with you guys, I very rarely ever use StazOn anymore, so it could be dried out. It's very possible. So this is the Memento. Most of you guys have this. Tuxedo Black Memento. And then last one, StazOn. StazOn ink pad always has this clear kind of cover. It says on there, do not discard. So you want to hold on to that. This is probably my very first ink pad, this black StazOn. It's been with me forever. It has like this almond extract smell. Is that just me, or do you guys' ink pad smell? I mean, it's not like gross. It's like, it smells like cookies. Wow, I'm surprised with that one. I haven't used this one in a while. Okay, let me clean my stamps. We'll give these inks a second to dry, as they would say. And I'll show you guys again what we're looking at. Hello, Terry. Oh, Terry, you're saying your ink pad smells too? Yeah, it's not like a gross smell. It's just, reminds me of, you know what it reminds me of? These little French cookies one of my employees made for me. They were some kind of almond cookies. They were delicious. Beatrice, if you're watching, I love those cookies. Okay, so once again, I'm going to bring this up to the camera so you guys can see here. Altenew, Gina K, Catherine Pooler, Color Box, VersaFine, the new black packaging, VersaFine Claire. And then on the back side, we have Memento and StazOn. Okay, so the first test I want to do is with Copics, and I'm going to use a yellow marker, and all I'm going to do is just color all of them in and see if the ink lifts on my marker. And I have my little scratch paper here, so if it does lift, we're going to know, because the marker, I'm just going to clean it off here, make sure we're not using a contaminated marker here. Pretty good. This is Y06 if anybody wants to know. So let's just go in here and start coloring. Altenew, there is a little bit of lifting there. Gina K, there was definitely some lifting there. Catherine Pooler, a little bit of lifting there. Color Box, yep, some lifting there. And all I'm doing is just taking the marker over the scratch pad and taking it off of there. VersaFine, for sure, definitely some lifting there. Ew, that really messed up the tip of my marker there. And then on the back, Memento, no lifting. StazOn, yes. Okay, so let's, clean my marker off. Let's talk about what happened here. All right, so the obvious thing I'm going to say here is Mementos were made to work with Copics. I don't know what's in them. Mementos never smear when using alcohol markers. Now, alcohol markers can be your Copics. You have these Copics. You have Stampin' Up! Markers. You have Spectrum Noir markers. Altenew just came out with some new markers. So if you have any of these markers, which are alcohol-based markers, these will all work great with Memento. Okay, so it will not smear. The issue I have with the Memento, and the reason why I have so many black inks, because I haven't found a substitute for it yet, is that Mementos do not stamp very solid in black. Okay, so it stamps okay. It does very well with Copics, but I just want it to be very black, and that ink doesn't stamp very black. Therefore, I have purchased all of these black inks to see if any of them will work. Excuse me. The one ink that I did not test, and it's because I returned it, was the My Favorite Things ink. I did buy it. I did this exact same test on it. It failed. I returned it. There was no reason for me to add another black ink if it wasn't going to do what I wanted it to do. Okay, so you can see here, StazOn is alcohol-based ink. When you put alcohol marker on alcohol-based ink, it's smeared. Now, the rest of these you could probably get away with. The Altenew is really not that bad. The Gina K came into a close second. There is some slight smearing in there, but it is not as bad as some of the other inks on here. Catherine Pooler ink as well. The Catherine Pooler ink did smear. It wasn't as bad. Colorbox and VersaFine both definitely smeared. Okay. Belinda, I don't have that one, so I'm going to put that on my list. And that's why I bought the small one so that I could try it out. All right, so let's move on to the next test, which is the Zig. And the Zigs are dye-based watercolor markers, or basically any kind of marker that you have that's not alcohol-based. So I'm hoping that this color will tell us if there is any kind of movement in color here. Altenew ink seems to be okay. Gina K ink seems to be okay. Catherine Pooler ink seems to be okay. That's good. None of these are moving when it comes to coloring with regular markers. Colorbox inks, okay. VersaFine, okay. So it doesn't look like, from what I can see, none of the inks on the first page smeared. I know it's hard for you guys to see. Maybe I should have picked a lighter color marker. None of these smeared. They look great. So let's flip it over. Let's go to Memento. No smearing. And StazOn. No smearing. I am going to grab a lighter color marker. Hold on. Okay, this is an orangey yellow, and we're going to test this out on the bottom here. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to see was how solid these stamped out. How black were they? How solid? How detailed were the images? So I like this little girl from the Hero Arts kit because she has like little open areas up here where her feathers would be on her hairpiece. You have the little fringes down on her skirt. And this ink, I would say, is pretty good. And look, I'm looking at all five, and I know you guys can't see. This one's pretty good. This is the Altenew ink. The Gina K ink is okay. It's not completely solid here in the dress, but still pretty good. This is the Catherine Pooler ink. Same thing, as it dried back, it took some of the black off of the dress here and also in her hair. Like this area here is not as detailed. The Colorbox ink is kind of smudgy. So you can see here around her hairpiece and in her, around her arms, like, look at the two comparisons here. The arm is very straight and clean, stamped here. And over here, it looks smudgy. Can you guys see that? Okay. And I would say the best one out of the bunch is this last one here, which is the VersaFine ink. It's very black and the lines are very crisp. I mean, it's a very black dress. Her lines are very crisp. Her legs are very crisp. Like, the whole image looks great. This looks like it got printed instead of stamped. So I want to just take this yellow Jane Davenport watercolor marker, and I want to see if any of this color pulls out. Nope. Didn't come out of any of those dresses. That's good news. Okay, and then on the back here, Memento does not stamp black. It really upsets me that it doesn't stamp black because it is the marker that we go to for Copic coloring, but it just is not a great solid stamper. I mean, you can see here that her dress almost looks gray. It just doesn't look black. Versus over here, StazOn does a great job with stamping black. But again, StazOn is a specialty ink. You don't want to be using that in your everyday stamping. Does not work with Copics. More of a permanent based ink. So none of these inks ran when it came to stamping with watercolors. I think all of them, once they dry and they set, you're good to go. I want to try the Gina K one more time because this Gina K ink is specially formulated to work with Copics, which is why I got it. But I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to heat set it. So by heat setting it, we're just going to take the heat tool and let that dry. And then we'll try the alcohol markers again. Now you guys are saying I have 2 recommendations from Belinda and Tracy to try the Brutus Monroe Detail Raven ink. So I will put that on my next list and see how that works. Because I really do want a deep, dark black ink to work with my Copics. And I love Memento. It's just, to me, it's just not dark enough. All right, where's my heat gun? Here we go. Where? Oh, I put my Copic marker away. I am going to grab this yellow. Okay. Nope, I'm still getting some smearing. It's not as much, but there is still some smearing in there. Heat setting it definitely helped. Let me see if I can get up to the camera here. Focus. So more so you can see where the lines are closer together, where that black ink just kind of started to pull out there. I mean, great if you're doing larger areas. It's not a big bleed, but it did pull out some of the colors there. Watermelons are not giraffes, Albert Einstein. That's very nice of you. I don't know who that is. So tell me what you guys' thoughts are. What are the 2 inks that you guys use the most when you're stamping? I would like to know because I am going to put the Brutus Monroe on my list. I will try that out. Or what kinds of things do you guys do with black ink that you would want to see? Anyone? Come on, you guys. So I would say the 2 inks that I always have on my desk, and you guys know, you've seen me stamp, is I always have the Memento and then the new VersaFine, and just 2 different purposes. The VersaFine is what I use for my everyday ink. So when I'm doing solid stamping, when I'm doing colored images with zigs or color pencils, I use the VersaFine once it's heat set because it does smudge a little bit if you go right at it. And watercoloring, I think it's the best, but I think it's super black. It's super clear and crisp when it stamps. The Memento ink, I really only just use it for Copics. That's it. That's the only time I get it out is just for Copics. So I haven't tried. I did also try, like I said, the My Favorite Things ink. I forget what it's called, but it was a hybrid ink, and it was supposed to be able to do both, and it smudged as well. No, Angela, I have not tried Spectrum Noir black ink. I will have to try that. So Crafter's Companion, yes, is Spectrum Noir. Yeah, this is usually my winner because it always stamps super black and super clear. And what's cool about this ink, let me show you guys the other thing I forgot to bring up that we can show quick. Is because this is a unique formulation of ink, it leaves you just a few minutes to be able to heat emboss. The other inks are dye inks and they dry too quickly. This is the new Brutus Monroe Pearl embossing powder. I love how smooth that embossing powder is. But you can see we heat emboss that whole image and it's a solid embossing. Because that ink, you don't need to put any VersaFine or what's the other one called? Versamark on it. I always get them confused. Yeah, VersaFine, that's why it kind of took over the market, was this ink super black and embossable. Yes. Okay, so you guys are recommending I try out Brutus Monroe and try out the Spectrum Noir ink pads. I will have to do that. This is a really cool pearl powder too. Okay, so there we go, guys. I will keep playing around with the inks. If I get any different results, I will let you guys know. I'm just playing around now. But the two, I mean, if you're just starting out and you're like me and you're like, okay, let me go buy all the ink colors of all the brands, you don't have to do that. You find the ink colors that you like, you find the brands that you like, and that's all you need. You don't need 8 different colors of black inks. You really only need 2, and it's these 2. That's my 2 cents. They do serve 2 different purposes. They're 2 different formulations. So they're great. Now, if you have the other inks, I am not saying go out and throw these inks out. They are great inks. You know, and if you have them on your desk, definitely use them. And, you know, when I bring these out, when my friends come over and we're all stamping together or we go to crops, then I might use these other ones. Or when the kids come down, that's when I use these other ones. But for my stamping every day, nothing tops these 2. All right. And that's time and time again, I've done this test, and those 2 always rise to the top. So that's all I have for tonight, guys. If you have any questions, post your comments down below. If you like this video, I appreciate your thumbs up. We're going to be, tomorrow starts the Mod Squad challenge blog for my post. I can't show you guys the card yet. You know, I'm going to show you a little sneak peek. Hold on. Let me see how I can do this tactfully. All right. I'm going to sneak peek the card for you. Look at that little frog. Isn't he so stinking cute? But you'll have to go check out the Mod Squad challenge tomorrow. It posts at, I don't know, 6 a.m. or something super early like that. And if you guys would play along, I really appreciate it. And you could win a $25 gift certificate to Kitchen Sink Stamps. But I did take you guys' suggestions from the other day, and I made this card, and I think you guys will like it. And yes, of course, the video will upload. I did do a tutorial video while I was making it, so you guys will get to watch the video, then head over to Mod Squad and play along. And you do not have to use any particular inks or stamps. You use what you have. Somebody did ask if it had to be certain kind of stamps. So no, you use what you have. You upload your picture. You don't need a blog to play along. You just upload your picture. You can upload it to Pinterest and just put the Pinterest link on there. And I randomly pick a winner next week on that. Speaking of winners, let me see if I can get Leah to come down here. Hold on a second. Let me see if we can randomly pick a winner. Winner. Hold on here. Don't go away yet. I'm scrolling through the subscribers here. And then I'm going to stop and we are going to pick a winner. Hold on. And somebody's going to get, and it doesn't matter if you're in the US or not, because Arteza has agreed to send you guys your prize, which again, I believe is a 24 pack of the premium watercolor paints. Hold on. I just got kicked off of the website. Are you kidding me? You know, this privacy kicking you out of all your websites thing is getting a little out of hand here, especially when it's scanning my fingerprint. Like, come on. Oh my gosh. Okay, not happening right now. Never mind. I will post the winner tonight. I'll have Leah come down and have her pick somebody, and I'll post something on our Facebook page. We'll post it on our Instagram, and I'll announce it on the next live we do, which will probably be Thursday. How's that sound? All right. So that's all we have for tonight. Again, any questions that you guys have, post them down below. This video went a little longer than I wanted, but if you want the Hero Arts kit, I believe it's still available. You go to heroarts.com. It's the My Monthly Hero February 2019 kit. Maybe we'll make some cards with that. I'm going to have the release next week for Blue Knight rubber stamps, so you guys will get to see some new stamps there. And for those of you that like to go to stamping shows, Creative Vision Stamps, who you guys know I love, has some releases coming out at their show. She just posted that on their Facebook page. And I got to tell you, I got a little sneak peek of it, and I was super excited to see what she's offering. So if you get a chance to go to any of these stamp shows, don't hesitate to go over to the Creative Visions stamp booth and tell Laura Nancy sent you. And don't forget to check out the foils, because they are just beautiful. Okay, they are heading to the Stamp Scrap Art Tour show in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you guys are going to that show, go see Laura at Creative Vision Stamps. Okay, guys, I'm out. See you guys Thursday. Bye-bye.